Hello everyone. Last night a hype tournament took place in Brazil. It's interesting for us primarily because it featured 3 grappling matches in a submission-only format between UFC fighters. The main event was the bout between Arman Tsarukyan and Muhammad Mokaev. In the co-main event, Silva faced Bryce Mitchell, and there was also a matchup between Shara Bullet and Barboza. How these matches went, you'll find out right now. This is a review of the hype grappling bouts featuring UFC fighters. Let's go. Shara Bullet recently had a grappling match with Arman Tsarukyan, and it ended in a draw. Since Shara currently doesn't have a scheduled fight in the UFC, he's not wasting time and decided to take part in a grappling bout against Barboza. Things haven't been going very well for Barboza in the UFC lately. He's currently on a 3-fight losing streak. And we're all used to seeing him fight mainly in the stand-up. But Brazilians are known for having strong jiu-jitsu in their blood, so this was a good chance to test that. The fighters spent a long time trying to secure a takedown. About half of the match took place on the feet, and eventually the first takedown was scored by Shara. On the ground he couldn't advance past half guard. Only near the end did he take a risk, but Barboza managed to get back to his feet, after which Shara secured a second takedown. Then time ran out. Yes, the action wasn't very diverse. Walter Walker came out and an extra round. Shara agreed, but Edson refused. As a result, the match ended in a draw. That's how it went. A reminder, under submission-only rules, you either win by submission or the match ends in a draw. Silva and Bryce Mitchell had already faced each other before, not in grappling, but in the UFC. A year ago, in April 2025, Silva won that fight with a ninja choke. However, the stand-up was what really made the difference there. Before the submission, Silva scored a knockdown. That's why Mitchell, despite that loss, came into this match as the favorite. After all, throughout his career he has shown stronger ground skills than Silva. Let's take a look. This match was a bit more entertaining than the one with Shara. The fighters exchanged takedowns throughout the entire round. In that aspect, Silva clearly outperformed Mitchell. Not only did he land more takedowns, but he also executed some nice bodylock throws. However, Bryce looked more confident from the bottom. At one point he even managed to get to full mount, and it seemed like we were finally about to see a finish, but nothing like that happened. The fighters ended up back on their feet and continued trading takedowns, immediately getting back up each time. Silva looked a bit more impressive overall, but the rules are the rules, no submission means no winner, so once again, it ended in a draw. Arman Tsarukyan hasn't received a fight in the UFC yet, so he has been actively competing in grappling and wrestling. We literally see him compete almost every month, and sometimes even twice a month. This time he was matched up against former UFC fighter Muhammad Mokaev, who still plans to return to the promotion. Interestingly, in MMA there are 3 weight classes between them. Arman fights at lightweight, while Mokaev comes from the flyweight division. So the question was, what would prevail, Tsarukyan's strength or Mokaev's speed? Tsarukyan quickly took the top position. It was immediately clear that he had a serious physical advantage over Mokaev, which was expected. For almost the entire 10 minutes, Arman kept attacking. Both fighters deserve credit here. First, Arman constantly takes risks and attacks, which can't be said about many fighters. Second, Mokaev defended very well for a long time. Even when Arman had him in mount, he still couldn't find a submission. But constant pressure eventually paid off. The match was already close to ending in a draw, with very little time left. Arman took Mokaev's back, locked in a choke, and submitted him. Arman Tsarukyan wins by rear naked choke.